all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in our newsrooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. Zesco, powering the nation.
Apple Max. Take it to the max.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Ah, Mom, this boy is a handful.
As if you were any different.
Then what about a memory? Say a lifetime of stories. Wash away the dirt and not the memories with Boom Bubble Plus washing powder.
Let the memories fade away.
Boom, and the dirt is gone. Introducing the Smart Kicker from iConnect, the most affordable smartphone on the market. With a follow focus capable 2-megapixel camera, you can't miss out on any of the action. Over 400 hours of standby battery time and 32 gig external memory. That's more than enough space for all your series, music, pics, apps and games. Get yours today from iConnect for a limited offer of only 499 kwacha, including 300 MB iSpot internet from iConnect. The Smart Kicker, available at iConnect. iConnect, make it happen.
The big day, everybody, and tonight we'll witness history in the making, y'all. Maki 2 all the way from Kokopala versus Slapdizzle my Nizzle. The moment you've all been waiting for. Maki 2 versus Slapdizzle.
Here's what you all been missing. Monster flows, fire flows, Mungamu kitchen. Flavor ikupa so can you upon a decision? Bigger than us, means you and the mission.
Down Biggie Man International, you man got see they have to know. Nobody on the corner got swagger like us, but everyone is bigger than us.
This moment is bigger than us.
Iyatikulilako is bigger than us.
Both of us, me and you, is bigger than us. Bigger than us.
Monster Pops are not just big, they're monster big. Try out our Wacky Fusion, Magic Forest, Tongue Painter, and Black Forest. Monster Pops, the biggest pop in town.
Want to just get out of town with your friends and family? Are you having a corporate getaway and have no adequate transport? Then this here is what you need to listen to. A brand new 35-seater Yutong luxury bus is now up for hire at an affordable and negotiable rate. It comes fully equipped with aircon, TV for your relaxation, music soothing your trip, and DVD players to give you variety. Book now by calling 0955 0966 or 977 844 141.
What makes the new Yo-Yo Chipsy so unique? 100% natural ingredients. Nothing artificial. Just a pure experience of freshness. potato chips. We know you'll love them.
Hey girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Jungle.
Good evening, welcome to the Prime TV main news. To present it, my name is Marco Kozi. First, we take a look at the stories making the headlines. Sakiwa Sikota charges that calls for a referendum before 2016 general elections are unrealistic. Government aged to pay council workers. Zambian Voice calls for seriousness in the Mutembo Tribunal. And in international news, the UN threatens sanctions on Mali fighters. These and many more stories. Join us shortly after this break. And now the news in detail. Prominent Lusaka lawyer Sakiwa Sikota says holding a referendum on the constitution before the 2016 general election is not feasible. Mr. Sikota says that lack of resources coupled with voter apathy recorded in recent elections makes it impossible for Zambia to hold a referendum anytime before the 2016 elections. He said the practical thing to do is to hold the referendum alongside the 2016 general elections as proposed by government. Mr. Sikota says those calling for the referendum before the 2016 general elections are being unrealistic. The Zambia United Local Authority Workers Union has charged that government is reluctant in dealing with the payment of the Lusaka City Council workers who are working under difficult conditions. ZLAWU President Mishek Nyambose says LCC workers have not been paid their money for a long time and government seems not to be serious in addressing the issue. Mr. Nyambose says government must be commended for opening other civic centers around the country to take services closer to the people, but must realize all services are nothing without pay. He has observed that LCC employees have not been paid their monies despite being promised to be paid on time. Mr. Nyambose says it is high time that the government addressed issues affecting workers at the Lusaka City Council.
Workers are going without pay. The funding system which is in the councils is not clear. Until last year, things were going smooth. Just suddenly, when Minister of Finance came up with a stated instrument to abolish the grants for salaries to councils, this has really affected the operations of the councils. Last week, on Friday, I received a call that from the other councils like Kingabwe District Council, a newly created council, has not received for 2 months their grant, which is called Equalization Fund, which replaced the salary grants.
Former United Party for National Development UPND deputy spokesperson Watson Mwemba has charged that the illegal land allocation by PF cadres must come to an end. Mr. Mwemba observed that PF cadres are offering land to people and at a later stage resell the land to different people. He says PF was heavily criticizing the MMD for such issues when they were in the opposition, adding that now that the PF is in power, they have taken the same route of illegal land allocation. Mr. Mwemba says the Lusaka City Council, in collaboration with the Ministry of Lands, must be given an opportunity to give out land. The Private Sector Development Association PSDA President Yusuf Dodia says Zambia still has the capacity to borrow money despite the challenges the country will face when paying back its debts. Mr. Dodia explained that even though the acceptable sustainable external borrowing threshold is 40% of the gross domestic product, it will be difficult for the country to pay back its debt if it continues borrowing. He says the country is not in a stable economic status and continued borrowing will stress the economy even more. Mr. Dodia has therefore urged government to ensure that it does not put more stress on the economy by borrowing large sums of money. Mr. Dodia said this in an interview with Prime TV News in Lusaka.
We are able to borrow. That's always an option. It's never a closed door. The challenge really is, are we able to pay back? By the time we came to the end of 2014, our combination of foreign debt and domestic debt was around $7.7 billion, of which $4.7 billion was foreign debt. So already we were heavily indebted. The 2015 budget has a provision for borrowing another $1.5 billion worth of debt, and this is both foreign as well as domestic, meaning that all things being equal, we would be ending 2015 with a total debt of about $9 billion.
United National Independence Party UNIP Vice President Njekwa Anamela says foreigners must not be commenting on proceedings of the draft constitution regardless of what they are given to Zambians. Mr. Anamela observed that the issue of the constitution is an internal matter and donors must not comment on it. He further says policies and the governance system of the country must be improved. Mr. Anamela has appealed to politicians not to abuse institutions such as the DEC and the Anti-Corruption Commission. Mr. Anamela says Zambians must be mindful that such institutions are not there to be abused by politicians. He was speaking to Prime TV News in an interview in Lusaka.
And the governance system must be at the service of our people. We must remove selfishness and the greediness in the governance system. When we do that, then we'll solve all other problems that may arise out of human weaknesses of various kinds. And in respect of what you are saying, it should be remembered that it was a unit government that set up the Anti-Corruption Commission, including institutions such as the Drug Enforcement Space Commission, and indeed all those institutions that were set up to fight instances of criminality or theft or abuse of office or maladministration, so that we can ensure that the governance system is at the service of the people. And therefore, the way we look at it is that these institutions must be professional.
Private Enterprise Program Zambia Manager Bayo Akindeide says the partnership with KCM will access the capabilities of prospective and existing local small and medium-sized enterprise SMEs suppliers known to both a potential to do meaningful business with the mines. Mr. Akindeide says PEP Zambia will also work with the mine to improve the capacity and capabilities of SMEs suppliers to provide access to business development support and technical advisory services, including access to finance where needed. He says the aim of PEP Zambia is to encourage economic diversification in the country. Mr. Akindeide says mining is the backbone of Zambia's economy and holds the capacity to contribute to the value chain. He was speaking to Prime TV News in an exclusive interview in Lusaka.
To do is two things key actually. The first is to diversify in terms of looking at businesses who are able to supply this particular mining supply chain and other mines. So the other thing that will come out of this, the other outcome, is a development of local skills, a pool of skills, a pool of talent who are able to work within this particular sector and within other sectors as well, because they'll understand things like logistics, raising finance, working with finance, being more competitive, able to solve problems or solutions to issues that arise when you're working with a larger company. Well, the other thing I would add is that we have 3 other components under our program. We have business development services, i.e. to improve the quality of advisory and support services to small businesses. We have a business plan competition, and I'm sure you've all heard of Nyamuka Zambia. That's all over the radio and in the papers, and that's the deadline is next week actually, 5th of May, for the Nyamuka Zambia. And the 4th component is a small sort of fund for small businesses.
We break for some commercials. We have more news right after the break.
It starts with a single seed. Patience. Dedication. Attention to detail.
I'ma sip it up, everybody sipping, I'ma sip my hell.
It's here, I'ma sip my hell. Eat well, drink well, feel good.
Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in unused rooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. Zesco, powering the nation.
What's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Fun. Style. Freshness. Great taste. tastes great. Are you ready?
Shake, 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 shake and sip.
Introducing Shake and Sip, the new irresistibly smooth fruity milk. Potato sticks, freaky fries. Get that awesome crunch.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Zambian Voice Executive Director Chilufya Tayali has charged that it is sad that the tribunal tasked to probe DPP Mutembo Nchito is not being taken seriously. Mr. Tayali says it is very unfortunate that people like Bredna Changala had no facts to present when he was submitting his allegations to the tribunal. He says this is embarrassing on the part of President Lungu. He charged that the tribunal is just a waste of taxpayers' money. Mr. Tayali says it is now evident that President Lungu does not want to work with Mr. Mutembo Nchito and must find another way of firing him.
The two charges where they allege that he forged a judgment and that he had planted drugs on Mr. Bredna Changala, those were the real issues. Those other cases which are there about him entering Enole and so on and so forth, it is very hard for the tribunal to find Mutembo Nchito wanting on those issues. So therefore, we really think that it was not started with good intention. It was not started with good intention. What is clear is that President Edgar Lungu does not want to work with Mutembo Nchito.
Meanwhile, Mr. Tayali has questioned the relevance of political parties and how they promote democracy in the country. Mr. Tayali says the move taken by former Petauke Member of Parliament, Dola Syria, to join the ruling Patriotic Front, PF, is not out of good faith and not promoting democracy. He says all political parties must have agendas and must stand their ground to support democracy in the country. He says Ms. Syria must have stood on her principle and stand on the MMD ticket to continue promoting democracy in the country.
But we have an issue on these different political parties. Do we really, our question is, seeing this movement of political players, today is in this political party, today there, and so on and so forth. If you really sit today, you would ask yourself to say, do we have different political parties as we have the names of political parties? It seems to us that we actually don't have many political parties. Instead, what we have are just different names of political parties, but the political parties, the players are just the same. And
Movement for Economic Freedom has expressed disappointment in the manner in which labor movements have handled labor issues in the country. MEF Secretary General Regan Mabata has noted that labor movements in the country have lost direction as they have not been able to represent the workers in the country effectively. He has further stressed that there is need for the labor movement to change the manner in which they are articulating issues if labor issues are to be dealt with promptly. Mr. Mubata has urged the labor movement to ensure that they serve the people of Zambia fully, as they are the reason they exist.
The labor movement in this country has lost its direction. In short, it has outlived its purpose. They have failed to bargain on the side of the labor force, the civil servants, as well as those in the public sector. Why we are saying this is because they have been unable to address matters of the retirement age. They have been unable to address the matters of the minimum wage, also the aspect of the wage freeze and job freeze. They have failed. In spite of their speeches being sugar-coated, their speeches are just sugar-coated. They are meant to hoodwink the public, especially the workers, to infer as though they are working when they are not working. And we want to warn and caution them that if they are not ready to take part in making sure that the citizenry of this country is being represented, let them just resign.
Southern Center for Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACOD, has expressed concern over the conflicts going on within Africa. SACOD Executive Director Boniface Chembe has attributed the conflict to lack of good governance and exploitation of natural resources by multinational corporations. Mr. Chembe has further urged governments in Africa to strengthen their capacities and put in place the right governance framework in order to be able to channel resources to the right sectors. He further appealed to the Zambian government to put more thought in adding value to raw materials, as the economy cannot depend on collecting tax from mineral resources alone.
As SACOD, we've taken note of the amounts of conflicts that have been taking place within the Great Lakes region, which all boil down to the exploitation of natural resources by predatory elites, but also multinational corporations. Obviously, one thing that has come out very clearly is on the wicked governance structures that we have within the Great Lakes region, on account of the weak regulatory frameworks that are in place to control the huge and lucrative natural resources that the region is endowed with. Therefore, we want to recommend SACOD to the International Conference on the Great Lakes region to begin the process of strengthening the capacity of their member states to put in place the right regulatory and governance framework so that the monies that are realized from these lucrative resources are channeled.
The Swedish government says it is important that Zambia finds a lasting solution to early marriages and teenage pregnancies. Head of Bilateral Development Cooperation between Zambia and Sweden, David Wicking, explained to Prime TV News in an interview that early pregnancies and marriages have a huge negative impact on the girl children. He observed that early marriages and pregnancies are becoming common nowadays. Mr. Wicking further noted that it is the responsibility of all parents, stakeholders and everyone in the country to see to it that the vice is curbed. Mr. Wicking said this in an interview with Prime TV News.
And the problem that I don't know if it's been there before, but now at least we can see it more clearly. So it's very important that all parts of the health sector take the responsibility, but also other actors in society, such as chiefs, government officials, church leaders, and each and everyone has a responsibility, I think, to ensure that child marriage, early pregnancies as well that you fight it, because it can't. I think it's very dangerous for people if it continues.
We take another set of commercials, but still ahead in the news, the UN Secretary Council has demanded an immediate halt to the fighting in Mali. This and other international stories, don't go away.
Chipsy so unique. 100% natural ingredients. Nothing artificial. Just a pure experience of freshness. Chipsy potato chips. We know you'll love them.
Mom, can I help you to cook?
No. Remember what I always tell you? Wash your hands.
Okay. Dad, this is a germ-free zone. Go wash your hands.
Good personal hygiene is important at all times. That's why medical experts recommend Romeo Plus medicated soap. It eradicates over 97% of harmful germs. Healthy families use Romeo Plus medicated soap. Romeo Plus medicated soap. Love, care, protect.
Shake, 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 shake and sip. Shake, delicious and healthy for you and your family. Nutrition and energy. It's smooth and tasty, yeah.
Yonsuna yowama yotelela mushi ilina mafleva yosiyana yonsemi ya bwino hands ibasa mpamvu kosataya ndawi yesa shake and see yokumwana banjana anzako onsipasako ambuye na makolo ako ilimbisa tu ikondwesa ana kosataya ndawi yesa shake and see.
Shake and sip when fresh meets fruity.
Welcome back. In international news, the UN Security Council has demanded an immediate halt to an upsurge in fighting in Mali and has threatened to impose sanctions against those responsible for the violence. The 15-member council said on Friday that renewed fighting this week threatens to undermine the peace process and demanded that the hostilities cease immediately. A peace deal is due to be signed in the Malian capital Bamako on May 15th. Armed fighters from the movement of Azawad reportedly entered the northern Mali town on Thursday, AFP has reported. Nepal's authorities have ruled out finding more survivors of last week's earthquake under the rubble as the death toll rises to 6,621. Nepal said 14,021 people were injured in the 7.9 magnitude quake on Saturday. The fate of thousands of people in remote areas remains unknown. The death toll could go up as search and rescue efforts are still continuing in several hill districts, including Dagding, Rauswa, and Sindapachok. Relief coordinator Hamenta. While the vast majority of casualties were in Nepal, about 100 people are reported to have died in neighboring India, Tibet and Bangladesh. The UN envoy to Nepal, Range Terink, said on Friday that the whereabouts of 1,000 European Union citizens was still unknown. That's it. That's all we had for the news at 19. But before we go, we take another look at the stories that made the headlines. Sakuiba Skota charges that those calling for a referendum are being unrealistic. Government aged to pay council workers. Zambian Voice calls for seriousness in the Mutembo tribunal. And in international news, the UN threatens sanctions on Mali fighters. That's it. That's all we had for the news. Don't forget to join us for another bulletin. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Marco Kokozi. Bye-bye.
Works.
Ah, Mom, this boy is a handful.
As if you were any different.
Then what about a memory? A lifetime of stories. Wash away the dirt and not the memories with Boom Bubble Plus washing powder.
Let the memories fade away.
Boom, and the dirt is gone.
The big day, everybody, and tonight we'll witness history in the making, y'all. Maki 2 all the way from Kukopala versus Slapdism and Nizzle.
Here's what you all been missing. Monster flows, fire flows, Munga Mu Kitchen. Flavor ikupa so can you upanga decision. Bigger than us, me and you and the mission.
Ciao, Biggie Man International. You man got yeah, but they have to know. Nobody on the corner got swagger like us, but yeah, the one is bigger than us.
This moment is bigger than us.
Yeah, Tukurilako is bigger than us.
Both of us, me and you, is bigger than us. Bigger than us.
Monster Pops are not just big, they're monster big. Try out our Wacky Fusion, Magic Forest, Tongue Painter, and Black Forest. Monster Pops, the biggest pop in town.
You see, I have never fought with a lion. I have never hunted through the forest in pursuit of food, but I do have the fighting spirit. Because for decades, my people fought for freedom, and in 1964, we won. I love to do the Fwemba, the Kalela, the Kwasa Kwasa. I wear Chitenge, so does my girlfriend. I eat crisps, not crisps. I love Nsima, Kapenta, Chihuahua, Delele. I'm Josh, and I'm proud to be Zambian.
iConnect, celebrating 50 years of Zambia's independence. Hashtag OnlyFazed. iConnect, make it happen.
It starts with a single seed. Patience. Dedication. Attention to detail.
I'm I'ma sip, sip, sip it up. Everybody sipping, I'ma sip my hell.
It's here. I'ma sip my hell. Eat well, drink well, feel good.
Hey girl, what's your name? Let me talk to you for just a minute. Where you live and what you like to do?
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
Okay, I'm just trying to get with someone real cause you look so free. So let's chill, have a drink with a guy like me.
Apple Max, baby. You need to give me Apple Max, baby.
A quality product from Californian Beverages.
Potato sticks, freaky fries. Get that awesome crunch. Fun. Style. Freshness. Great taste. It's here. It's fun. It looks cool. And it tastes great. Are you ready?
Shake, 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 shake and sip.
Introducing Shake and Sip, the new irresistibly smooth fruity milk.
Would you wear all your favorite hats at the same time? Well, we wouldn't either. That is why we suggest you use only what you need. Switch off all electrical appliances and lights in unused rooms. Remember, use only what you need and save power today. Switch and save. Zesco, powering the nation.